Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. So keep your back straight, neck straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes for ourselves to understand how this meditation practice will help for us, how we can, by the time, gain the development to ourselves, and what is mean by development. So those are questions you always have to be very clear when you walk in the path. So when it comes to our mind, naturally the mind, your consciousness itself, boundless. It has no limit. That doesn't mean it is a solid, unchangeable, kind of like holding a concrete structure. No, what you experience in this very moment as an experiencer. So that experience doesn't have any limits, no boundaries, no barriers. But the thing is, even though your mind has this kind of nature, if you look into yourself, how you feel that you are limited, and how you feel kind of like you stuck, how you feel kind of like around your own thoughts, your own feelings, kind of like become like barriers. The very reason when the perception happens, if you are not independently observe it, so by the time with that perception, your past experience, cankers, mental formations, or the sanskara, start to build up the barriers. You become a very limited person. So then how you can get into this unlimited experience? How you can get out of these boundaries? How you gain that freedom? So meditation is one method. You can develop that capacity in you. So it come out of that. It is, you can't gain it by reading a book, listening to something. You can't gain it kind of like a ordinary way of knowledge, because this is not a kind of something limited to intellectual understanding. This need to come out of experience. Another thing is, when this wisdom comes, there is no kind of like someone do this from inside you. So it's how you can get into that. It all come out of your clear experience. So it's that experience you develop out of the proper observation. So that is the baseline that you have to understand when it comes to meditation. How you can maintain or develop a proper observation. So when it comes to that proper observation, what does that mean? So it should be non-judgmental observation. When you observe, when you see, you have to see without judgment. That is one thing. And when you see that yourself should not have any intention to participate with what you see. It's another way, unparticipated observation. So non-judgmental observation. Remember these steps, because when you practice yourself, those are going to help you bring the guidance to yourself. So you observe your inhalation, exhalation. You have to observe it without any judgment. Another one is without any participation. That's so without interference. Another one is your observation should be unbiased. Without any bias, you have to observe with the freedom. It should not have some fear base. Uninterrupted observation, another thing. Because we have a nature always interrupt to the system. And another one is that interference, interrupted, or it doesn't matter, good way. When it comes to interrupted, sometimes we see it's kind of like get into the middle and disturb the process. Interference is kind of like you can interfere with in a good way, but here when it comes to observe, that is a very important part. When you observe the inhalation, exhalation, you can't bring that interference to the process of inhalation, exhalation, or whatever the things you observe. So those are basic principles when it comes to develop proper observation. And at the same time, you have to remember, even though you don't have that non-judgment and non-participator and unbiased, uninterrupted, and without interference. So those qualities, that your investigation, your observation you have to do it properly. You can't neglect it. And other thing, you have to observe it without missing anything. You have to observe the entire process without neglecting any part of that. And when it comes to that, you will get into proper observation. So remember that, and again, practice yourself, get into the basic understanding. So when you observe that way, what happened? What happened to your observation? What happened to your recognition? And that recognition, how you're going to experience through your life, and then what is the meaning of liberation or the enlightenment? So we are going to talk about that. It's just, this is just a, we opening kind of like a map, and it gives some informations, and it will tell you, how to get into the destination, and it will show you the nature of it, but it is yourself. You have to walk. You have to go towards by practicing and experience it. But there is something like that. That is the only thing we have to understand out of this all, because otherwise, if you think this is the only thing in life that what you experience, you're not going to see the other side of this life. Because you become very limited person to your own experience, and then you don't understand what is the meaning of freedom, or what is the meaning of this boundless experience. So when it comes to that point, when you observe this way, you develop the clear comprehension that the referring to that whatever we see, whatever we hear, smell, taste, feel, and when it comes to thoughts, this all, and you are capable to apply that freedom to your perception. So when you observe inhalation, exhalation, now your observation, non-attached, unparticipated, unbiased, no any fear, and uninterrupted, and uninterference, no interference. So now you observe, and at the same time, you don't miss any part of your inhalation, exhalation. Entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation you observe. You don't miss any part of it. You not neglect any part, that it become very clear. So when you observe, now you work with the inhalation, exhalation. That is what we do here. So when you do that, what happens? By the time you recognize, even though you see anything as one, that one thing exists, that one thing appear as a one, as a result of many things. That is the wisdom that you gain out of clear observation. So when you observe something, you recognize. So as example, you see this cup as a one thing. But when you observe clearly, when you come to the proper observation, when you develop the clear comprehension, and it's kind of like a refreshing yourself, cleaning yourself again and again and again, what happens? You will start to recognize. Even though you see this cup as one, there are many elements there. So when you observe that way, what happens that you experience to your mind. So we go with only inhalation, exhalation. Then remember that inhalation, exhalation experience, naturally, your mind start to apply with the perception. So that's why whatever you experience here, it's going to become experience of your life. So now you see very clearly inhalation, exhalation, it is a natural process. So now you know how to get into proper observation. So you have to work for that. Remember the steps and again, keep working for it. And then by the time you will settle down with the sensation. So that is what called a practice. So once you settle down, once you're capable to see the inhalation, exhalation properly, what happened to your mind? When you see the inhalation, exhalation very clearly in its natural process, mind start to unattach. That is something, this is very important to understand when you practice. It is not you do something. So as example, I can detach from it with the taking very conscious decision. I don't want this anymore. You can detach from things. Taking a very conscious decision. You take a decision and reasoning behind that decision. But this is not like that. It is a completely different. That's why when you see the nature of anything as it is, your mind itself come to the point to detach from it. So then now you have to understand, if there is an attachment, that means you never into its natural process. There is something you missing. So then how you can apply it to your day-to-day life and see it as a wisdom for you. So now it's come with the breathing, we observe. So then when it comes to your eye, so when you see something, you are capable to see it without any attachment. But you see it, but there is no attachment towards that what you see. It is not, remember this, it is not your conscious decision. It's your natural being itself. So sometimes when we see, oh, this is beautiful, this is, ugly, oh, this is so elegant. So like that, we have a kind of like a, attachment towards what we see. Like or dislike both. And sometimes neutral things also can happen that way, because when it's not going to meet with our needs, sometimes we neglect that. So that's why. But this is not like that. In this experience, there is no divisions like that way. So you see something, but at the same time, inside you, no attachment. You hear something, whatever you hear, inside you, no attachment. You smell, inside that smell, in the moment of experience, no attachment. You may say, oh, it's nice, but in the conventional level of, conversation you can have, but deeper in you, You have no attachment to that. And with the taste, whatever you experience in the moment, you have no attachment to it. Bodily sensation, you may associate the people, you may stay with your husband or wife or partner, but you have no deeper attachment to it. So with the mind, maybe the thoughts keep coming, but you have no attachment to that thought. So mind itself detached from what it experiences. So another thing, it's not going to experience anything from subject point of view. It start to release from that. So it you can't get by thinking, in conventional level, we can kind of like have a shadow experience, but this happens when you develop the proper observation. So that's why rather than try to do this, start to work with your observation, purify it, refine it, develop it, upgrade it, make it more sharp, clear comprehension, develop that. Because when it develops, it will take you to see properly. When you see, this is come as a result. See, but the world, we try to detach from things. And we have a subject point of view. We are the experience. We hold to the self-centered mind. I take the decision. And then what will happen out of that? I take decision, you empower the I. And you empower the egocentric, self-centered idea. Then by the time you come to the point, I can do this. And then you become very limited person to what you like. So then by the time what happened? Remember, you can't hold the world going to hold you if you like something. As example, if you like the money, you think, I like it, I can collect it, I can use it. So by the time what happened, money become the boss. You become the slave to money. So you become the servant. And if you like the power, and you may get into the power because you like it. But by the time what happened, the power become the boss, you become the slave to it. So whatever you like, it become your boss. That is the final line. And then, any sensation, pleasure, you like it, and people can go to many things. By the time what will happen? It become the boss. Then whatever the boss say, you will do anything. So sometimes people like to hear what other people say. And they like others' comments. They like, when other people appreciate us. We like, then what we do? We always start to do things to make other people happy. So then by the time what happens? So that means other people become our boss. Why? Because we start to do according to what other people say. So see how you become very limited person, how you build up your boundaries, how you build up your barriers, going with the like and dislike. So see that's why this doing and taking conscious decision and creating a situation, you can't get into this level of detachment. It's come out of experience and it comes out of being with it, no separation. Another thing is, when you observe inhalation, exhalation, now that observation means proper observation. So the proper observation means, remember, I gave details. So when you observe that what happened, so now detach, and the other one is the unattractive. You not go into it. It's not kind of like you so attractive to your experience. So then, by the time what happened with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, whatever you experience without any attractive explanation, without any attractive definition. That is why you tune to the natural process of your experience. So when you observe inhalation, exhalation, that is what happens. Another one is, when you observe inhalation, exhalation properly, when you maintain proper observation, so now you detach from it and know it's unattractive. So then the next one, what happens? Your mind start to recognize the freedom. You're not bound to it. You observe, experience your inhalation, exhalation freely. Not depend on what you experience. So, but when it comes to us, if you have that, so with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, you will come to the point to experience it with the freedom. Because most of time, with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, we have no freedom to experience it. Because what we experience itself make us a very limited person to that. That is a kind of like a little bit, you have to digest to understand it a little bit. It's like when it comes to, when it's like your husband, wife, children, that your things, I am, around that, whatever you build up. So you can see separately, but from it itself not allow you to become free. So as example, you can see a person from outside, from your family or outside, and as a person, as a human. But you can't see like that with your husband or wife or children or parents or your family background. Just I give you an example. It is a little bit deeper. You have to get into that the desires or the whatever you like or dislike, whatever you hold, this everything like that. So somehow this is what, even though you see freely yourself, that the outside things, the object not allow you to make you free, because maybe you think your husband or wife or children as some, just a person, but they bring the connection to you. And they say, oh, you can't do this because you are my this, my that. So this is the very conventional level of experience. But deeply what happens when you observe the inhalation, exhalation, when you maintain the proper observation, clear comprehension, when you refine, when you clean up, what happened deeper in your mind, you start to observe things freely. And that whatever the object itself not going to hold you to the moment of experience. That is a deeper, the beauty that you can experience with your practice. Even sometimes in the very first time, if you hear, maybe you're not going to understand what that is. What is that? Because you are, you are so caught up with the ideas or the thoughts to be limited. So that's why, conventional level that we build up this, that, but mentally you are free. Mentally you are not bound to anybody. Only this, everything conventional boundaries you build up. If you look very carefully, mentally you are free. But in day-to-day life, when we experience things, we not get access to that freedom because our thoughts put the barriers. You can't think like that way. You can't breathe, be free like that because of this, that. But finally, end of the day, you don't have such a, things that belong to you in this world, anything. Nothing belongs to you. Things will come, things will go. Everything has its own way of journey. But if you look that, if you recognize that, you get the freedom. So by observing this, maintaining the proper observation, developing the clear comprehension, you gain that. So it's not like that, oh, give us the freedom, oh, we need the freedom, we are free or we are independent. It's not like that something. Even in the prison, you can experience this freedom. Even the middle of the crowd, even with this many, conventional barriers, still you are capable to gain that freedom. That is kind of like a beauty. It's a kind of like a skill, like it's kind of like a maximum risk, prison. You are capable to escape without doing, there are people, they can do it, so it's a kind of like that. So developing it, how it come? Not by thinking, not by reading a book or learning. You can't get it. Developing proper observation. That's why observing inhalation, exhalation in tranquility state, and through the vipassana, you develop that skill. And other one is, so unattracted, detached, free. And the fourth one is unrelated. You observe inhalation, exhalation. So observer is not related to that. So then with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind experience, can you experience anything without having any, without related to that? So developing this skill, that is what gain. And the other one is disassociation. So you're not going to associate it. So with the inhalation, exhalation, you gain that with skill. You're not going to associate it. So little by little, you keep the distance from the moment of experience, but still you see it. So then with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind experience. Because we have deeper current. It's come with the lust or the desire to gain. Tanha. Gaining. Associate. I need. With our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, 24/7, all for 6 directions, we gaining. It's kind of like our mind is kind of like a huge the thought, magnet thoughts, collecting everything from gaining. And that is what we experience. But now deeply in the bottom of, with your observation, the very first time, now you recognizing, you're not associated, you're not going to gain, you're not going to hold it. You slowly detach from that. And that bring the total freedom to yourself. It take you out of the limitations. It take you out of the boundaries. It take you out of the barriers. It take you out of the fear. You become unbiased to even any ideas, thoughts, culture, tradition, spirituality, or methods, the gurus, the monks, the books, that's everything. Even the symbols, mantras, chanting. So it takes you out of everything. And that is the true nature of the mind. It is there with you. But look, still, sometimes if you don't see that symbol or the book or the chanting or the, the statue, you become kind of like helpless. Why is that? From where it come? Have you saw that? So that's why observing here, see the key point, not a magic. When you observe properly, it takes you to that level. So then, finally, you observe proper observation, that the proper observation means without any judgment, without any participation, without any bias, without any interrupted, without any interference, without any fear. You observe the process without neglecting, missing, and without kind of like passing by. You observe the process 100% clearly. So when you observe that, it's a refining, it's develop the ability of the observation. You build up the next level of clarity. It brings the clear comprehension and expand the capacity to see. So there's no any magic in between this all. It is your power of observation, the clarity of observation. That's it. Within your breathing. There's nothing else. Not about the statue or the imagination or the visualization, nothing. It's pure inhalation, exhalation. When you observe that, what happened, by the time that experience will take you to the proper observation, clear comprehension will take you to have the very unattracted mind towards the what you observe. And you start to detach from it. You become free from it. And you start to observe with unrelated to the object that you observe. You disassociate what you observe. So in that way, what happened? You gain within that whatever the object you observe, within that you gain unlimited mind, boundless mind, no barriers, and you observe with the total freedom. So now you apply to your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. You observe something with your eye with that qualities. With ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, with that qualities. That is the nature of enlightened mind. So you can't get it by reading, by praying, visualizing, thinking about it. You can't gain it by doing. You have to experience and allow it to happen. Only thing is you can do just develop the proper observation, then it's going to be with you. That is the difference in between the vipassana meditation and tranquility meditation and vipassana meditation when it comes to the Buddha's teaching and most of other teachings. Maybe try to gain to the same path, but they all try to do it. But there is no way doing that you can gain it. This is by developing it. That is what we call cultivation of mind. By cultivating your observation, as a result, you gain this. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Sopateva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and attitude to wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge in this moment with this sitting. May my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. When it happens through the sensation, recognize it. Do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward, visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward and upward. To all six directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chamnihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjisami Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.